Now, let me take you through the synopsis of this entire lecture. That is basically, in the next 1 hour, I'm going to tell you all the things that we shall be studying and how we shall be studying them, in which order. See, basically, if you understand this 1 hour, you can always look at all those videos which are going to come ahead of this. Whenever, whichever topic I have mentioned, at that point you can see them. So, this is a crux that I'm going to talk about here. So, without wasting the time, let's start. Now, as I told you, we are going to start this syllabus discussion with arrival of Europeans. Though it's more of a medieval history topic, but why we are doing it, as I had said earlier also, so that we have an idea about who all had come. So, for example, under this chapter, you will see we'll talk about the Portuguese, Dutch, Danes, French, and of course, English. We shall be looking at all these 5 in this chapter. See, this is not the order in which they arrived. English, because about them, we'll be studying a lot throughout these classes. That is why they have been kept at the last. Now, under this, we will see certain wars that took place between them. We will see where their factories were set up. And you will see that suddenly last year, 2021, prelims question came from this section. Overall, a chapter important only for prelims, not that much for mains. Now understand here. When these Europeans came to our country, in our country, definitely somebody would have been ruling. So basically here, once we have seen the arrival of the Europeans, we shall enter into a chapter that is basically decline of Mughals. See, if let's say this is our country, somebody, that is these Europeans, they are arriving, and as we know, these English, they will start ruling on us. Invariably, they need to create some space for them, and already these Mughals, they are ruling us. So only when the Mughals will decline, somebody else will come. So we shall see the decline of Mughals over here. Along with the decline, here only we shall see the later Mughals. Now please understand, decline of Mughals, it is basically a mains topic. We shall see the various reasons that led to the decline of the mighty Mughal Empire, once upon a time which ruled practically the whole country of ours. Why did it decline to such an extent that it was only in and around Delhi? So we need to understand those reasons. And in this only we shall see that this decline, which was a process which began from the time of death of Aurangzeb, though Aurangzeb is also liable here, it continued till here. See, by 1857, the mighty Mughal Empire was only having its skeletons, nothing else. But in these 150 years, please understand, the Mughals, they had many rulers, starting from Bahadur Shah to Bahadur Shah Zafar. So almost 9-10 rulers will be talked about here. Jahandar Shah, Farooq Sher, Muhammad Shah Rangila, Ahmad Shah, Alamgir II, Shah Alam II, Akbar II, and finally Bahadur Shah Zafar. The names are very bulky, their works will be very, very light. And trust me, UPSC can ask questions based on this in your prelims. And the knowledge of this will also help you in your mains. Now, if this is your topic number 2 and this is a part of that only 2.1, let's look at the third topic. See, decline happens over a long period of time. It didn't happen in one day. It took years. So naturally, what happened was that this mighty Mughal empire would have broken into many smaller pieces. And this we shall be studying in our third chapter, that is your rise of provincial kingdoms. Under rise of provincial kingdoms, we shall see kingdoms like Hyderabad, Carnatic, Awadh, Bengal, Mysore, Kerala, the Rajput states, the Jat states, the Rohillas, Marathas, Sikh. All these provincial kingdoms will have to be studied by us. Questions in 2021 pre also came from this chapter. And knowledge of this will help you in solving questions like there was a question earlier. Mid 18th century of India was beset with fragmented polity, was a spectre of fragmented polity. So such questions have come. So in mains also this knowledge will be very, very helpful. Now, please understand. What did you see? This mighty country ruled by one Mughal empire has broken into these princely states here. And ultimately, it is the English who have to eliminate all these competitors and even the foreign competitors in order to establish their rule in our country. So basically, in the chapter number 4th, we shall study all the wars, any battles, and of course, the treaties. So here you will see Anglo-French War, of course, Anglo-Maratha War, Anglo-Mysore War, Anglo-Sikh War, Battle of Palasi, Battle of Buxar, annexation of Sindh. So if you see here, under this chapter, we shall have 3 Anglo-French wars, 3 Anglo-Maratha, 4 Anglo-Mysore, 2 Anglo-Sikh, 1 Battle of Palasi, 1 Battle of Buxar, 1 annexation of Sindh. And in all these 15 wars and battles, you can see the count. One side is always Anglo-Mysore, Anglo-Maratha, Anglo-Sikh. Here also British are on one side. In the Battle of Buxar also one side the British are. And Sindh is also being annexed by them. And apart from these 15 wars and battles, one more chapter that we shall study here will be Battle of Panipat. This is the 3rd Battle of Panipat, which happened in 1761. And here, the 2 sides will be the Marathas and Ahmad Shah Abdali. And you will see that even this war will be helping the British in order to consolidate their rule over India. All of you understand, Britishers did not annex our country only by wars, battles, but they also annexed our country or brought it under their direct rule by certain mechanisms like subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse. We shall study them also in this chapter. Moving ahead, in the fifth chapter, we shall see that because of the long rule that these Britishers had in our country, there will be some amount of resentment as far as we Indians are concerned. We would not be very happy with their rule. And here we shall see that we Indians start doing many revolts. Here you will see some of these revolts will be tribal, peasant, military, etc. And there will be one big revolt, 1857. And remember, this is a very important chapter. See, all the revolts are important. For example, if you look at tribal revolts, 2018, 2020, they were prelims questions. 2019, there was mains question. Similarly, peasant movements, there have been questions earlier. There was a movement called Tibhaga. Questions have come on that. Now, please understand, these chapters may be at different places. You need to have this structure with you. Because, see, tribal revolts, throughout the 190 years of British rule, there would be many such. Similarly, when I talk about the peasant revolts, for example, Indigo revolt is there. This is happening around 1859-60, whereas Tibhaga is happening in 1940s. So you can see different movement. Similarly, I can give you example like Bardoli, mid 1920s. This is happening. So at different places, these different tribal revolts or the peasant revolts will be dealt. Now, under 1857, if we come, basically there are 5 things that we need to study. Number 1 will be, what were the causes of the revolt? Why did these revolts happen? Or specifically, why did the 1857 revolt happen? Similarly, in part 2, we'll see the important events, leaders during the revolt. Who were the important leaders, important centers? Where did they lead these revolts? And any particular event, like, for example, let's say something called Azamgarh Proclamation. Similarly, third, we'll look into the reasons for the failure of the revolt. Why did this revolt fail? We shall study that here. In the fourth part, we shall see the results of this revolt. And last part, we shall be doing an analysis of the revolt. So if you see, this part will be for mains, and rest of the, specifically this will be for pre, but rest of the areas, questions can be framed both in pre as well as mains. For example, under the results, you'll see Government of India Act 1858. Questions can come, questions have come, and pre also has come, and even in mains, questions can come here. Now, let's say this is your 6th chapter. Moving ahead of this, we shall see our chapter number 7, which is socio-religious reform movements. See, the lengthiest chapter of our syllabus In fact, Bipin Chandra has discussed this chapter in two parts, not in one. Now, under this, please remember, we shall see certain reforms which took place in Hindu religion, Muslim religion, Sikh religion, Parsi religion, and we shall see reformers from Bengal, Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, other areas, North India, etc. There are many. So I've just mentioned a few. So if I name, for example, we shall study about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. We shall see here only Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. We'll be studying about the great Henry Vivian Derozio. Then in Bengal only Ram Krishna Paramhans, and we'll also have Swami Vivekananda. Then if we go to Maharashtra, we have the great Jyotiba Phule. Later from Maharashtra only we would have Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Great Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, again will be coming from here only. Then if we come to South India, we'll have Periyar from Madras. We'll have Narayan Guru from Kerala. We would have Justice Party, of course, from Mysore. We would have Vokaliga Sangh. In North India, if we talk about, we'll talk about Swami Dayanand Saraswati and his Arya Samaj. Of course, Jat, Pat, Todak, Mandal. All these from North India. Even outsiders would be there. For example, Theosophical Society. We'll study about them. What all things they did. And then if we talk about the Muslim reform movements, very important, Sayyid Ahmad Khan. We shall study about him. We'll see the Iqbal. Now, of course, questions may not come from him, but NCRT talks about him. Then we shall also see here Wahhabi movement, Titu Mir movement. We shall see here Faraizi movement, Ahmadiyya movement, Deoband movement. Similarly, when it comes to Sikh, we shall see Singh Sabha movement, Akali movement, and Parsis, we shall see Dada Bhai Naroji. See, apart from this, we shall also look at the major ills, whether they were social or the religious ills that plagued our country in those days. We shall talk about all of them. Very lengthy chapter, and maybe I would have missed out a few names here. I have not written every name here. There are Behramji Malabari is there, MG Ranade is there. So there are so many other names. So maybe, we shall be seeing many more than this, what is already mentioned. Pandita Ramabai Saraswati is there. So, very, very important chapter. Now, moving ahead of this, in our 8th chapter, we shall see the economic history of modern India. Now, under this, we shall start our discussion with 3 stages of capitalism. You'll see economist R. Palme Dutt. He came up with this, and mercantile phase, industrial phase, and financial phase will be studied by us. Then we'll see, wow, how did these Britishers, make us poor? Drain of wealth, very, very important. Prelims questions have come from this. Similarly, if we talk about deindustrialization, very important. How they basically ruined our industries, made us poorer, made India's balanced economy into a agricultural and colonial economy. After deindustrialization, we shall also see the commercialization of agriculture. How they have led to the commercialization of agriculture, because they needed raw materials. How did they do the commercialization? Of course, their method of revenue collection. For example, the permanent settlement, Rayotwari, and of course, Mehelwari will be studied by us. Moving ahead, we shall see one of their results of their rule in our country was there were lots of famines in our country in those days. But then, did everything that they do in our country was only bad? No, there were certain good things also. For example, they introduced railways in our country. Now, of course, anything that they introduced was for their own benefits. But at this moment, we'll see that they did do this particular introduction of the railways. Again, very, very important chapter. Last 10 years, lots of pre as well as mains questions. Both of them have kept on coming from this particular chapter. Now, moving ahead of this, now we shall see that in India, there will be a growth of moderate nationalism. And here, we shall see that before Congress, there were certain pre-Congress associations like Madras Mahajan Sabha, Bang Bhasha Prakashika Sabha. These associations used to be there. Of course, we will look into the reasons for the growth of moderate nationalism in our country, like railways. They were one of the reasons. Later, we'll study education, press. They also will be the reasons. Moving ahead of this, after the pre-Congress associations, we shall study in this chapter a theory associated with the formation of Congress that's known as your safety valve theory. Was Congress a product of this particular ideology of the Britishers, or there was something else behind this? This is something that we shall be studying here. After this, we shall enter into the moderate phase of Congress, which was there from 1885 to 1905. Here we shall see who all are moderates. Number 2, we shall see here what did they do, what were their achievements, what were their failures, or if I say it like this, drawbacks. Of late, very, very important chapter. Continuously questions are coming. 2017, 2021, mains questions have come based on their demands and their failures. Similarly, prelims questions have come from pre-Congress associations in 2017. And apart from this also, there has been questions. So overall, last few years, this has become an important chapter. Moving ahead. Now, Not everybody is happy with the moderates. What it led to? It led to the growth of extremist ideology in our country. So again, we shall start this chapter with the reasons. Why is there a growth of this ideology in our country at this point of time? Once we have gone through the reasons, we shall see that there will be very, very prominent reason. That's your division of Bengal. The Britishers divided Bengal in 1905, which was a landmark event, a watershed as far as our history is concerned. And the Indians, they showed their anger here by launching Swadeshi and boycott. These two movements were launched at this point of time. Beyond this, if you see here, apart from Swadeshi and boycott, we'll see that because of some issues, Congress will get divided in 1907. Surat, Congress will get divided. Surat split will happen. And with this movement around this period will also come to an end. The final thing here that you will be studying will be the formation of one party, that's your Muslim League. Now again, questions have come from this area. 2020, there was a question on Curzon, which was basically related to this. Pre-questions, mains question, both keep on coming from this particular chapter, which we can say as chapter number 10. Now, at this moment, not everybody is happy with their ideology also. Some people want much more than this. So here, they will launch the Gadar movement. There will be this Gadar movement which will be launched at this point of time. Outside India, this was a great romantic work done by our leaders. Great event. Of course, they were unsuccessful, but then we cannot undermine their efforts. It was huge. And around the same time in India, we had the Home Rule Leagues, which was being organized by Tilak and Annie Besant. They both had their different Home Rule Leagues, which were operational from 1916. Now, in the last chapter, you had studied that Congress had got divided in Surat. Here you will see that Congress in Lucknow session 1916, there will be a merger of Congress. Not only a merger, along with that you will see here, Congress will also form a pact with Muslim League. 10 years ago, this party was formed so that Muslims don't join Congress, and now Congress is doing a pact with them. That is something that we shall be seeing here. Lucknow Pact. Now at this moment, now will be the arrival of Mr. Gandhi. Gandhiji. World knows about him because he has already done a lot of things in South Africa. So we shall see his efforts in South Africa. Once he comes back to our country, he will do 3 small movements. Champaran, Ahmedabad, Kheda. Around this time only, the Britishers will pass a bad act which will be known as your Rowlatt Act. And against this, Gandhiji will launch his Rowlatt Satyagraha. And around this Rowlatt Satyagraha only, you will see around this time that the Britishers will commit one of the most disgusting act of their rule in our country. They will be involved in Jallianwala Bagh massacre. They will kill on paper some 379 people. People said more than 1,000 people had died. And to look into this, here they will appoint a Hunter Commission. And to take a revenge of this, later you will see Sardar Udham Singh killing Michael O'Dwyer, who was the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab at this point of time. He will be killed. So basically, we have reached around the period of 1919. Now, after this, Gandhiji will be launching his big movements like non-cooperation movement. And along with the non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji will also have his Khilafat movement. Both these movements will be running simultaneously together. Now, as you all know, the things that will happen here will be very much what you would have seen in the Swadeshi and boycott movement. But then this movement will end with an incident that's your Chauri Chaura incident. Some policemen will be burnt by the Indian people, and after this, Gandhiji will be calling off the non-cooperation movement. Because Gandhiji has called off the non-cooperation movement, many people will be disappointed and they will go on to form their own Swaraj Party, whereas others, they will remain with Gandhiji and they will be your no changers. Later you will see that this Swaraj Party also would have some issues and would get divided on the issue of responsivist, non-responsivist. Finally, they all will come back, and around this point of time, you will see that Congress will protest and many others will protest against the arrival of Simon Commission. Why? Because it had no Indian. And why did this commission come? This is around 1927. This commission came to look into Montagu-Chelmsford scheme and to suggest future reforms. Remember, we will study this. We have not talked about this, but we are going to talk. Now, because Indians oppose this, the Britishers, they are throwing a challenge to us that why don't you make a constitution of your own? And thus comes your Nehru Committee. Motilal Nehru will submit a report for the constitution of our country. At this moment only, the government will again announce something on the day of Deepavali, which is known as Deepavali Declaration. Under this, they will say, we are ready to give you dominion status. We will say, we are not happy with this. Now we want Poon Swaraj, nothing else but Poon Swaraj. And for this, you will see, we will have Lahore session, the historic Lahore session of Congress. Questions in 2021 came from this. Of course, questions from this have come in the mains. Simon Commission, one of the most important topic for prelims. Questions have come from Lahore session in prelims. No question till date has come from the Deepavali Declaration, but questions have come on Nehru Committee also. Finally, here only there will be a small committee which will come, a small topic, and question has come on this. That's your Butler Committee. Moving ahead, at this moment, we will slightly move to the revolutionary activities. Now remember, this chapter we study in three parts. One part will be pre-World War One revolutionaries, where you will see incidents like Alipur bomb conspiracy, etc. During World War One, we have already talked about this in Gadar. And finally, after World War One, where we will talk about revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh. See, a topic which can come both in pre and mains. But then 2011 onwards, not a single question has come on this topic. Nothing has come here. So that is something that we can see. Moving ahead, again we'll come back to Gandhiji. And Gandhiji now is launching the big movement, that is your civil disobedience movement. And this will be launched with the Dandi March. This will be the thing. Apart from this, if you all see here, at this moment only, the British for the first time will organize a round table conference. They will invite everyone. Please come. Let us talk. Let us understand your issues. But you will see Congress will boycott it. Why? Because Congress is busy in CDM. Moment Congress did not come here, everybody said, please invite Congress also. So in order to bring Congress, now there will be Gandhi-Irwin Pact, also known as your Delhi Pact. Congress has to be invited. And this ratification of this pact will happen in the Karachi session of Congress. Now, as you all can understand, after this, Gandhiji will go and attend the second round table conference, which will ultimately turn into a failure. And Gandhiji will come back to country and again launch the second phase of civil disobedience movement. In the meantime, government, they will announce something which is called your communal award, which will finally end with a pact between Mr. Gandhi and Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar. We'll study the Pune Pact and also the communal award. Here only we shall see Gandhiji's Harijan campaign and a very small topic, the third RTC. Now, if you look at this questions on CDM mains 2021, similarly questions on RTCs have come. Questions like arrange these in chronological order have been asked. Similarly, questions have come on communal award. Karachi session, there has been prelims question earlier also. Now, moving ahead of this, we will see in our 16th chapter the growth of communist ideology. We'll see here parties like CPI, etc., the communist parties, Communist Party of India. We shall see people like Jawaharlal Nehru and S.C. Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose, who will remain within Congress but will be very much influenced by this leftist thinking, ideology. We shall see a party called Congress Socialist Party, and finally some independents like N.G. Ranga, Swami Sahjanand Saraswati, etc. So we'll be looking into this also. Then here only you'll see government will come up with the Government of India Act 1935. Very important for both pre and mains. This also questions on pre has come in the past. And based on this, in 1937, there will be elections for 11 provinces. We shall study here the Congress performance for next 28 months. And lastly, after this, we shall see that Congress will be resigning. 23rd October 1939, Congress will resign. And from here, we shall see World War II would begin and a plethora of activities will happen. One very important will be first time the Pakistan resolution demanding the two nation, and thus the two nation theory, will be propounded by Muslim League. Muslim League will say we want Pakistan. In the history of communalism of our country, this will be a milestone for Muslim League. Now, last part will be towards freedom, where you will see that government, in order to get our support, will offer us August offer in 1940 August. We will reject it, and instead we will launch individual satyagraha. Again, they will offer us something that's called your Cripps proposal. We will reject it again and go ahead and do Quit India movement. Now, while in India, Quit India movement was going on, outside India, the great Subhash Chandra Bose had formed the Indian National Army and was fighting against the Britishers. And inside India, Rajaji Plan, Desai Liaquat Pact, all these will be pondered in order to break the deadlock between League and Congress. Apart from this, later they will come up with another plan, Wavell Plan or Wavell Proposal. And you will see, after this there will be so many other plans like Cabinet Mission Plan, Plan Balkan, Mountbatten Plan. There will be also something called Bose-Suhrawardi formula. All this, because now we are very close to our independence, too many things are happening. Even we shall do one mutiny. Our navy also will mutiny at this point of time, just around the Cabinet Mission Plan time. All these events very quickly will be happening. And remember, this chapter, almost every topic, I think barring your Bose-Suhrawardi formula, every topic had prelims questions. And even at times, mains questions have been asked. 2021, for example, there was question on Quit India, on Indian National Army, Rin Mutiny. So many mains questions have come. Similarly, a question on entire structure of 1940 to 47 have been asked. Questions on Cabinet Mission Plan have come in prelims. On Balkan Plan, it has come in prelims. So all these topics, there are questions. This way we would achieve our independence in 1947. See, beyond this, there will be some small topics. For example, press, mostly for prelims. If you see this chapter, we'll look at the important legislations like Vernacular Press Act and important authors and those who would have started some new newspapers. Similarly, we'll look at the chapter of education. Lots of prelims question. I think in the last 5 years, at least 4 prelims questions have come from this section. And we'll look at all the important committees like your Macaulay Committee. Similarly, Wood's Dispatch, Hunter Commission, Rayleigh Commission. Then we had the Sadler, Hartog, Gandhiji's Vardha plan, Sargent. All these different plans will be looked into. And finally, apart from this, we shall see the different steps that will be taken in the constitutional development of our country. And here we shall see Regulating Act of 1773. Then we shall see amendments to it in 1781. Then we'll look at the Pitt's India Act 1784, amendment to it in 1786. Of course, the four Charter Acts 1793, 1830, 1833, 1853, and few which we have already studied. For example, the GOI Act of 1858, 1861, 1892, Morle-Minto, that is 1909, Montagu, Chelmsford, 1919, GOI Act 1935, India Independence Act 1947, and of course we'll look into the constitution making body, that is Constituent Assembly, also at this point. Finally, as a revision, we shall also look at all the Governor Generals from Warren Hastings' time till Lord Mountbatten. Questions keep on coming. Questions in the last few years on Curzon and Dalhousie has come in our mains based on this chapter. Apart from this, there might be some small topics here or there that we would be covering. For example, if I say, I have done for you separately the Congress presidents. All the Congress presidents at one point of time, at one place, so that it becomes easier to study. Similarly, apart from the Congress presidents, we would also be seeing here the different thoughts of different leaders. Remember, you studied everything, and do look at all the previous year prelims as well as mains question papers that we have discussed separately. Mains question papers from 2013 to 2021, all of them have been discussed. Prelims 2011 to 2021 is there, and apart from that also some important questions or certain questions which have come from different areas before this, they have also been discussed by me in this particular module. So basically, this is the way that we'll be studying this entire module of ours of modern history. I hope by now you would have got a brief idea about how the different things would be moving. See, again, I'm telling you, some small topics here or there, they will keep on coming up. Don't worry about them. But more or less, this is the big structure that we have drawn right now. If you remember this structure, it becomes very easy for you to understand the different things that we shall be studying. See, again, I'm telling you, don't think that just because I did not name any word, I wouldn't be teaching them. For example, let's say, if you think judiciary or civil services or police, where are they? Everything is there. Don't worry about them. So now, let's begin with our preparations and let's see one of the most important areas of our exam, that is modern history. Thank you. Goodbye.